Hi everyone, I'm just here helping you with today's lesson. This right here is the paper that you're gonna need for your notes, so make sure you have this paper. And this week we're gonna be focusing on decimals on a number line. As you can see, we have here two number lines, and here it says on number lines, find the whole numbers first. So if you look here, we have the number 0, and then we have one whole. So every time you have a number line, you always have to look for that whole number first, right? From 0 to one whole. Then you're gonna count the number of spaces, between the whole number, and then that's gonna tell you if it's gonna be by tenths or hundredths. So if you look here, from here to here, if we count the spaces, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that means we're gonna have tenths. So on your paper, go ahead and write down 1/10 like this. 1/10. Then you have 2/10. Then you have 3/10. 4/10. 5/10. 6/10. 7/10. 8/10. 9/10. And then you have one whole. If we were to look at this as if it was a fraction, it's like if we have a one whole rectangle and then we cut it like this. And you don't have to write this down, I'm just showing you an example. And then if you have one shaded out of 10, that means you have 1/10. And this is what it looks like as a decimal. If you have two square shaded, then you have 2/10. And this is what it looks like as a decimal. And so on, right? You got your 3/10. Then you got your 4/10. Then you have your 5/10. Then you have your 6/10. Then 7/10. And then you got your 8 and 9. And I think I messed up. Yeah, I messed up over here. Let me try this one more time. I miscounted one square. All right, so you shade this. This is 1/10. Then you got 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10. You got 9/10, and then you have your 10/10, which is the same thing as one whole. So that's what it looks like. Now, if you were to zoom in, right? I could zoom in. You could have, and you don't have to do this at all. I'm just showing you an example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then if you keep doing these are going to be your hundredths, right? So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hundredths, right? 10 hundredths. So this is going to look like this, right? Like that. So again, you go from 0 to one whole. That means that you have 100 little squares from here all the way over here. So you're not gonna label every single line, but we're gonna still label the ones that, at least the ones that go in that are counting by tenths. So you have 1/10, just how you have it right here, right? 1/10. But we're gonna put a 0 in the hundredths place. So that's 10 hundredths, 20 hundredths, 30 hundredths, 40 hundredths, 50 hundredths, 60 hundredths, 70 hundredths, 80 hundredths, 90 hundredths, and then you get your one whole, right? Oh, and I forgot to tell you to put a decimal point over here and a 0. So I think I had told some of you last time that even if you have just like a whole number, you can, if it doesn't have a decimal point, the decimal point is always there. Even if you don't see it, it's always there. So just make it, instead of being invisible, make it visible. So put a decimal point, and then you can put a 0 in the tenths place. All right, so before we move on, make sure that you wrote this, okay? If you ever need to pause the video so that you can catch up and finish, you can do that. And then once you're ready, you can press play. Now we have hundreds, right? So if we had something that, let's say we had a point, let's count, here, this is 0, so let's count 1, 2, 3, so 3. Let's put a little point right here. This is gonna be 300s, okay? That means that we have a 0 in the ones, right? Because we're still in the ones right here, 0 in the ones, 0 in the tenths. You can't put a number here that's not a 0, because all of these numbers right here, they'll have 0 in the tenths, because you haven't gotten to 1/10, right? This is 1/10. You haven't gotten to 1/10, so there has to be a 0 in the tenths, right? And then you have a 3 in the hundreds, right? Now this one would look just like this, but it would have a 4, right? If you had it right here. And same thing over here. It will be a 5. And then for this one, it will be a 6. And then for this one, it will be a 7. For this one, 800s. For this one, 900s. Then once you move here, then you have your 1000s. Now, let's say you had a point somewhere over here, right? If this is 1000s, then this is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Go ahead and put a point right here, and we're gonna call this one 1900s. And let's look at it for a second. You still have 0 ones, right? Like, we still haven't gotten to one whole. You're not gonna get to one whole until you go all the way to over here, one whole. So everything's gonna stay as, with a 0 in the ones place. You have a 0 in the ones place. We are gonna put a 1 in the tenths, because all of these numbers that are right here get a 1 in the tenths, right? Because all of this belongs to the 1/10ths, right? 1/10ths, right? And then here you have 900s. If you had a point here, it would be 1100s. If you had a point here, it would be 1200s. If you had a point here, 13, a point here, 14, a point here, 15, a point here, 16, a point here, 17, a point here, 18, a point here, we have our 19, and then here is our 2000s, right? Now, once you get to the next 10th, then you're gonna get a 2 in the 10ths place, and so on. Okay, we're gonna do one more point over here. Let's do it over here. So this is 60. So this is 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. Let's go ahead and put a point right here, and then we're gonna put 0 in the ones place. We get a 6 in the tenths, right? Because now we have a 6 in the tenths. All of this belongs to the 6 in the tenths. And then in the hundreds, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna put a 5 in the hundreds place. Okay, so make sure that you have this part done. Make sure you put the points in the right spot. And once you're ready, we're gonna continue. Remember, if you're not ready, you can always pause the video. Now we have this number line. Okay, this number line, we start with 0. And I don't see a 1 whole, but I know this is 1/10. So from here to here is 1/10. So I can safely say that the next one is going to be another tenth. So we're going to put a 0. And then we're going to put a 2 in the tenths. Can you guess what's going to be here? If you guess 3/10, you are correct. And then the next one, if you look at the longer line, is going to be 4/10. Then over here you have 5/10. If you look at this line, for the next line, you're going to have 6/10. The next one's going to be 7/10. Then 8/10. And then can you guess this one? I'm actually not going to help you with this one. I'm going to leave this one blank. But tomorrow, when I look at your notes, you're going to show me and you're gonna show me this part right here. Let's see if you can get this one right. All right, so we are done with the tenths. Now from here to here, I see point A. I wonder what's gonna be in point A. I know that this right here, all the way here, you get a 4 tenths. So let's go ahead and write that down. We have 0, decimal point, 4. It's gonna look just like this one. But now we're gonna put something in the hundredths place, right? We know that this one has, if you're starting right here, you have a 0 in the hundredths, right? If you just have a tenths, you can always put a 0 in the hundredths like this. So if you count here, you have 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 hundredths. Let me make it a little bit smaller. So you have 43 hundredths. Point A is 43 hundredths. Okay. Something that is going to help you a lot to do these type of problems is to just go ahead and put a 0 to hero in all of your tenths. Right, so we're putting a 0 after the 1/10, so now it looks like 10 hundredths, 20 hundredths, 30 hundredths. We already did 40 hundredths, 50 hundredths, 60 hundredths, 70 hundredths, 80 hundredths, and don't forget the one that goes here. Okay, so now let's go to point B. We know that this one right here is 60 hundredths, right? All of this is going to be a 0, a decimal point, and a 6 in the tenths, right? So we know it's 0, decimal point, and then 6. Now we need to figure out what's going to go in the hundredths. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. 63 hundredths. So go ahead and make sure you have this down. Don't forget to do this one. Remember, you're doing this one by yourself. And if you need to pause the video to copy this down, go ahead and pause the video. Once you're ready, you can press play and then we can continue. All right, we got another number line here. And this one looks a little different. If you look, your 0 starts here and your 1 starts here, right? Like the 1 in the ones place. So that means that all of this is going to be 0 something, right? 0 something. And I've told you that if you don't see a decimal point next to it, you can always put a decimal point. So let's go ahead and put a decimal point, and then we're going to put a 0. Same thing here, decimal point, and then a 0. Same thing over here, decimal point, now a 0. And I think, who was it? I believe it was one of the kiddos in my afternoon class. I think it was Emma, that she said, oh, Mr. Pina, this kind of looks like a 10. This kind of looks like a 20. And that's kind of like, multiple perspectives. And she was correct. So if you start with 0 over here, and this is 10, then this has to look like a 1, 2, 3, right? So we're going to write it like this: 0, decimal point, 3. So that means that we're counting. Each little line is going to be counting by tenths, right? It's going to be by tenths. And you might say, why isn't it not like that? Why didn't we put 300ths if the lines look so little? That's a good question. The reason is because from here to here, it's one whole, right? So this is one whole. And if you look at it, like I told you earlier, if you think of it like a rectangle, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spaces. So we're counting by tenths. So we're just moving the tenths place. Okay. Now, if this is 2, then this next one has to be 3. So we can put 3.0. And this one can be 4.0. This one that's right here. And then the next bigger line can be 5.0, then 6.0, then we got 7.0, and then this line right here that's also big, we're gonna call that one 8.0. And we can stop right there. Okay. So this 3.0 almost looks like a 30, and this one almost looks like a 40. So this is almost like saying 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. But it's going to look like this, 3.7, right? So all of this belongs to the 3 in the ones place, And all we're moving is the tenths. So if it was right here, it would be 3.1 or 3 and 1/10. If it was here, 3 and 2/10. If it was here, it would be 3 and 3/10. If it was right here, it would be 3 and 4/10. Here, 3 and 5/10. Here, 3 and 6/10. Here, 3 and 7/10. Right? So remember, this all belongs to the 3. Just like down here, all of this belongs to the 0. Right? If you had a line right here, a point right here, it will be 1/10. If you had a point right here, it will be 2/10, and so on. If you had one right here, it will be 9/10, because you're only moving the tenths place. Okay. Now we're gonna go to point C. Can you guess what's gonna be in point C? I'm gonna have you do this one by yourself. Okay, so you have a 7 that almost looks like a 70, and you have an 8 that almost looks like an 80. So I wonder what's gonna go right here. Go ahead and do that by yourself, and I will be checking it tomorrow. All right, let's go ahead, and if you still need to write this, write it. If you're done, good. If you need more time, pause the video. And if you're ready for this number line, let's go ahead and do this number line. Here we have 2 and 1/10, 2 and 2/10. If we use our multiple perspectives, this almost looks like 21. This almost looks like 22. So let's make this one pretty much almost like 23, but a decimal point right here. We're moving by tenths, right? So the thing that's changing is the tenths place. So 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. The ones place is staying the same, right? We're gonna keep it the 2 in the ones place. All right, so let's label the next one 2 and 4/10. This one's 2 and 5/10. So now I wonder what's gonna go here. You might say, Mr. Pineda, there's nothing between 24 and 25, and you will be right. So that means that we have to put a 0 to hero in the hundredths place. So let's put a 0 in the hundredths place. And it's 0 to hero because now we're gonna be able to understand that this almost looks like 240, and this almost looks like 250. So if you had if this was like 240, this would be like 241, 242, 243, 244, 245, 246, 247. So it would look like this, 247, decimal point 47. So from here to here, it's all 2.4, right? If it was something here, it would still be 2.4, but you would have a 1. And then over here, it would still be 2.4, but you would have a 2, right? So the only thing that's changing between here are the hundredths place. So now we know that this one was like 240, 250, 260 almost, right? Multiple perspectives. 270. Can you guess what this one's gonna be? So you're gonna do this one by yourself as well. Okay, so by now you should have completed this paper. Once you are done, remember you have to do this one by yourself. You gotta do this one by yourself and this one by yourself. Okay, once you completed all of this and also these 3 points, you're gonna fold your paper in half, and I believe it's gonna go on page, where did I put it? Oh, it's over here. This is page 19 and 20, the comparing and ordering decimals. So you're gonna have to flip it to the next page, and you're gonna fold it kind of like this, right? And it's gonna say 21, page 21, and you're gonna title it decimals on a number line. Decimals on a number line. Okay, I'm not at school right now, so unfortunately I can't take a picture of what it should really look like, but just remember that you're doing it on page 21. And on page 22, if you're wondering, let me tell you what's gonna go on page 22. On page 22, you're actually gonna do this one right here. Okay, this is not really an exit ticket, it's just more practice. Okay, so let's look at this paper. If you're not ready for this paper yet, go ahead and glue and do what you gotta do, and then once you're ready, come back to the video, press play, so that you know that you're ready for the next page. And let's go ahead and work on this one together. It says Lysander plotted points on a number line. What decimal does point I represent on the number line? So the very first thing that I'm going to do is do my zero to hero. Or maybe not zero to hero, but you can always do, like, for example, here you have a 1. Go ahead and right away put your decimal point and then the 0. That way this kind of looks like a 10. And then you got 15. Now the 2 over here, same thing, 0 to hero, decimal point, and then put a 0 in the 10th place. For the 3, same thing, decimal point, and then a 0 in the 10ths. So now this looks like 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and you guys know how to count by 5, so it's very easy, right? So you're looking for point I. So if this one right here is almost like 20, and this is 25, what do you think this one's gonna be? So if this is 20, this is 25, see, 21, 22, 23, 20, this is like 24. So 2 and 4 tenths. Go ahead and write that down, 2 and 4 tenths. Okay, let's go to question 2. It says Amy plotted points on a number line. What does point Z represent? Okay, so for this one, you start with 60 and you go to 70. I wonder if we're just moving the hundredths place. So if this is 60, it could be 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. Yes. So we know that point Z has to be, let's see, we said 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68. 68 hundredths. 68 hundredths. Very good. Now, let's go to number 3. It says, the points on the number line represent decimals. What decimal does point B represent? Okay. So remember, you're going to put your 0 to hero. So you're going to put a decimal point and then a 0. Same thing for the 5, decimal point and then a 0. And this almost looks like 40. This almost looks like 50. I'm going to let you do question 3 by yourself. And then let's go to number 4. It says the points on the number line represent decimals. What decimal does point M represent? So here you have 70, 80, 90. This one should be very easy. I'm going to let you do number 4 by yourself. Okay, so once you're done with these questions, make sure you're labeling point B over here and then point M over here. Make sure you label that. Once you're done with that, you're going to go back to your notebook. And like I said, we're pretending this is page 21. This is page 22. This is your decimals on a number line notes. And here you're going to put the notes that we did earlier. And then on this other side, you're going to put the paper that I just showed you, which is, oops, no, not that one, which is this one. Okay, so you fold and glue, and then you are done for the notes. The next thing you're going to do is this, this exit ticket over here. This exit ticket, I am going to have the substitute also printed, or give it to you on paper. You guys are going to do it on paper, and then you're going to turn it into the sub. And that's all we're doing today for math. I do have other work for you, but this is something that you make sure that you actually do it and glue it on your notebook. All right, so make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. Okay, bye.